attempting this exam and solve all previous year question papers and evaluate your answers. This will enhance your presentation style as well as answer writing skill, and it will also help you attempting all the questions in the exam within the stipulated time period. Now I'll be focusing more on the roles and responsibilities of an IES officer and career opportunities available to them. As you all are aware that IES is a Group A central service, and this is a very specialized kind of service. A distinguishing feature of this service is that its cadre posts are spread across 55 ministries and departments of the central government. And IS officers are exposed to almost all the departments and central government, and they are working almost all the sectors, whether it is finance, fiscal sector, social sector, trade, economic regulation, price fixation, rural development, various welfare schemes of the government. IAS officers are engaged in diverse activities of ministries and departments of the government, which inter alia includes policy formulation, to its implementation, to its Ministry of Rural Development. He or she will not only be involved in policy formulation, design, and implement a scheme in such a way that the benefits of this scheme should reach to most deprived and most marginalized sections. From my personal experience, I got my first posting in multilateral institution division of Ministry of Finance in 2015. The fact that I had any kind of working experience at that time, International Finance Corporation met us pertaining to ease of doing business, and that too under the able guidance of well-renowned and very senior officers like present RBI Governor Mr. Shaktikanta Das, the then Chief Economic Advisor Mr. Arvind Subramaniam, and with present Chief Economic Advisor. As an assistant director in Ministry of Finance, my responsibilities included examination of policy documents of the World Bank, New Development Bank, International Finance Corporation in policy document negotiation, as well as the project negotiation with these multilateral development banks. So you all must be aware of Economic Survey of Government of India.
Yes, ma'am.
It is prepared by IES officer under the guidance of Chief Economic Advisor. Similarly, budget documents are also prepared in consultation with IES officers. I have been privileged to be part of economic survey and budget document preparation process. Being part of Ministry of External Affairs, I also got opportunity to work with well-renowned diplomats and represented my country at various multilateral fora like G20, BRICS, IBSA, UNCTAD, WTO, etc. Besides this, IES officers can also go on deputation as well as secondment programs and work with various domestic and international state government, regulatory bodies, and work on diverse areas like fiscal like
Excuse me,
fiscal
ma'am.
areas, finance, tax policy, social sector. The list is endless. So,
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt, but your voice is breaking.
is it clear now?
Your voice is breaking. I guess it is a network issue. It would be better if you can just switch off your video.
Once again. Is it audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
And, thank you. So, the list is endless and there are numerous opportunities. Besides this, IES cadre has also tied up with various international universities where IAS officers are being sent for great career training programs. Degrees officers have increasingly been playing a versatile role with their domain knowledge and expertise, and they are getting appreciation and recognition for their work in almost all ministries and departments. So, I'll stop here. And an energetic student of Departments of Economics. To prepare for this exam, use your knowledge and expertise towards development of your society, your state, and contribute in nation building. I would like to urge talented female students of this university to dream big, work hard, follow your passion, and realize your full potential. Quoting few lines of Allama Iqbal's couplet, which has always inspired me, and it goes, दयार इश्क में अपना मुकाम पैदा कर, नया जमाना नई सुबह शाम पैदा कर, खुदा अगर दिले फितरत शनाख्ते तुझको, सुकूते लाला गुल से कलाम पैदा कर, मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फकीरी है, मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फकीरी है, खुद ही न बेच गरीबी में अपना नाम पैदा कर. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing talk, especially the last one. Now I would like to request Tanveer Ahmad Khan sir to continue and continue the talk on the Indian Economic Service from his side. Yes, sir.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to interact with the young students of Aligarh Muslim University. And I hope everyone is from economics background, so I will be speaking to a homogeneous set of students. And I will also like to thank Dr. Shamim Ara ma'am for enlightening us with her experience because she has been in the service and she knows better than me. I only qualified the examination. I'm yet to see what she has seen. So she was a better person, and I would also like to thank AMU Students Club for inviting her to give a talk to you as well as me. Let me tell you at the very beginning that I was a bit confused because I was asked to prepare some slides. And normally you do not prepare slides when you have to give a kind of a pep talk or a motivational talk because you don't know what to put in the slides. But you asked me to prepare some slides. I have prepared some slides, 8-9 slides. I hope they will help you and they will help me as well in the process. So can I share my screen or somebody can help me in sharing the slides?
So you can share the screen. We will see. Is it coming or not first?
Just a minute. Just a minute. Is the screen visible now?
Yes, it is. It is. What you can do is
Okay.
you can bring on this. Yeah.
Is it now visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I will be speaking. Most of it has been covered already by ma'am. So I will not be dealing much with what we do because ma'am has already talked a lot about what Indian Economic Service officers usually do. I will be more focusing on the preparation and what you have to do. And I have also prepared some slides on the book lists, which I have personally consulted, and I hope they will help you. Okay. So if you look at, just a minute. Okay. So if you look at the Indian Economic Service, it is an organized Group A central service, organized in the sense because it was designed for a particular purpose. And that purpose is actually given in the second column. And it was constituted in 1961 by the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. And if you look at its career controlling authority, it's located in the Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs. And what are actually Indian economics officers supposed to do? Mostly, as per the website of Indian Economic Service, uh, they are actually entrusted with the responsibility of doing the economic analysis and rendering actually advice for designing and formulating development policies, strengthening delivery systems, and monitoring and evaluating the public programs. This is broadly the kind of work Indian economics officers are supposed to do. And if you are interested in economics, then definitely this is the best service you can get in India. And also, ma'am has already talked about it that Indian Economic Service officers mostly serve in the Central Secretariat, and it's an interministerial and interdepartmental service. You can serve in any no, ministry. There are supposedly 55 ministries, and you will get an opportunity to work in most of them during your career. In addition to it, you can also serve, on deputation basis in state secretariats, and you can serve in other economic forums like World Bank, IMF, WTO, even in foreign embassies. And there are vast number of opportunities you can get while being in the service. So it is definitely a good service for those who are actually passionate about economics, who like to do research, and who want to contribute to the economic development of the country. And since I will be focusing more on the exam pattern because I have recently qualified it, so I will give you some tips as well that may help you in your preparation for this examination. If you look at the exam pattern, this exam does not have a prelims like civil services because this is a specialized job, and I don't think there is any need for introducing a prelims for this examination. So it has a mains component and an interview stage. So the mains examination consists of mainly 6 papers. Out of 6, 4 are focused on economics, on different subjects of economics, which mostly you study in undergraduate level and in the post-graduation. 1 paper is English and 1 is GS. And if we look at the English paper, it's based off on 100 marks paper, and GS is also of 100 marks. So both the papers have only 20% weightage in the mains examination. So it doesn't have much weightage. But still, the medium of writing is English, so they test your English as well. And in the ministry, mostly the English is the language of, official language of the country. So it's one of the official languages, and it is mostly used in the central secretariat, even in the state secretariat. So definitely, and you are dealing with you're posted in ministries, and you are actually interacting with the foreign economic forums, foreign countries. So definitely, you should have some grasp on English as well. That's why they are testing your English and general studies. General studies is also of 100 marks, so they just test you that, and officers should be at least aware of what's happening in the surroundings. That's why they have kept the general studies of 100 marks paper as well. But still, they have not given it much weightage in the mains examination. And since mostly there are other 4 economics papers, like each economics paper, I will come to that, what are those 4 economics papers, but each are based on 200 marks. And together, their weightage in this mains examination is 80%. So if you are good in economics, then definitely you have a higher chance of qualifying this examination. So the focus here needs to be placed on economics. And if you look at the interview stage, interview usually consists of, there are only 200 marks for the interview. And usually it consists of a panel of 4 members, which are there to test your personality and your opinions about the current socio-economic issue. Let me focus on this stage here a bit. So if you look at the interview stage, in interview stage, there are normally 4 members, and they definitely test the different aspects of your personality. They are there to test your knowledge. They are there to test your honesty, your integrity. These are the basic, tenets of a good personality. So there are others, and I have listened to many pep talks who say that the interview board is not there to test your knowledge. Yes, but my argument is different. It is that they are there to test your knowledge, your honesty, and your integrity. Knowledge is an integral part of your personality. At the same time, honesty is also an important part of your personality. So if you don't know anything in the interview stage, if the panel member asks you any question and you don't know it, then accept it with humility, because knowledge is vast. Nobody can claim that he knows everything. So you accept it with humility and tell them that I'm ready to learn it. Show the willingness that you are ready to learn it. If you don't know anything, tell them, sir, actually I don't know it, but I will go through it once I get the time. So this should be your approach. And second, hello? Second most important thing, you should be confident what you are saying. You should be careful with your word selection, the words you say there, because mostly they will ask you a question. They will try to grill you. You need to be very confident, and you need to defend what you have said. Suppose if you say something and then they counter you on that argument, then you should actually be in a position to defend it. If you fail to defend it, then definitely it sends a negative message, a negative signal to the panel members. So you need to be very confident. You need to be very honest. If you know anything, tell them. And if you don't know anything, tell them, I don't know it. This should be your approach in the interview stage. And if we look at the book list, and here I will discuss the 4 economics papers. Economics paper 1, which mostly is based on microeconomics, econometrics, and mathematical economics. For microeconomics, you can read Pindick and Ravenfield, and this Christopher Schneider and Nicholson. These are the 2 best books for microeconomics, for this examination at least. Money fear for this paper because it's a bit mathematical. So if you are good, if you have read these books, I don't think that it should create any problems for you. It has not created for me, it will not create for you as well. So for basic econometrics, you go through Damodar Gujarati, which is mostly actually taught in almost in every university in India. And then there are other relevant portions which you can get from the IGNO study material. I have pasted here the link. I will share with you the slide. You can download those portions from here. And what are those portions? I will come to that where, the portions are mostly, you can get those portions from the previous year question papers. If you go through previous year question papers, you will come to know about the focus areas and whether I can get those from Gujarati or not. If you don't get those things from Gujarati, then you can download them from IGNO material. IGNO is a standard material, so you can go through that. I have pasted here the link. You can download it from here. And for mathematical economics, if you have a mathematics at +2 stage, then it should not create any problem for you. But since in almost in every graduate school or any other post-graduation program, there is a course on mathematical economics. So A.C. Chang and Sham's outline for mathematical economics, these are the 2 best books for this examination as well as for your masters as well. And also, special focus here need to be placed on linear programming, differentiation, and matrices. These are the 3 things which in which UPSC is interested. Then economics paper 2. It is based on macroeconomics, growth and development, international economics, financial economics, and global institutions. Since, as ma'am has already talked, the syllabus is very vast. So that's why in paper 2, you have to cover a lot of subjects, which normally you read in your, you study in your masters. For macroeconomics, you can go through Freud, you can go through some IGNO material for the topics which are not covered in this book, which are not covered in the Freud book. And for growth and development, I think M.L. Jingan is the best book, and Todaro and Smith, some topics from Todaro and Smith. Here the focus need to be placed on the growth models. You should be well aware about the different growth models, which normally we study in the growth and development paper in our post-graduation as well as in undergraduation. Then international economics, Dominic Salvatore and Paul Krugman. These are the 2 best books for international economics. Salvatore is regarded as the Bible of international trade, but it graphical approach. And Paul Krugman has a mathematical as well as graphical approach. So if you are actually good in mathematics, you can follow Paul Krugman, and if you are good in graphs, then you can follow Dominic Salvatore. And then financial economics. You can go through as monetary economics of S.B. Gupta, or, my own, I have actually consulted the online sources for this subject. You go through the previous year question papers and locate the focus areas in this paper and just download them from online sources through internet, hello? Just a minute. There are, hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
So financial economics, you go through SB Gupta, but I would recommend you to search topic-wise. The topics which are frequently coming in the examination, you search them online and make notes. That will be the best approach to go for this paper. And then there are global institutions which are also covered in this paper. So you can read them online. Again, I have read them online. Dominic Salvatore has also covered some international institutions. But my advice will be you focus on the contemporary issues and challenges facing these institutions. Suppose during our tenure, there was some conflict, some challenge or some problems with the WTO, appointment of chief executive to the WTO. Or there are some issues with IMF, the World Bank. You need to be very well acquainted with those problems, and you need to prepare the static as well as the dynamic portion on these institutions. So these things, the problems with these institutions, the challenge, you can get these things from reading newspapers. Because mostly these things come in the newspapers, you have to make notes from them and actually put them under this global institutions section. Or if you have prepared notes on this, you actually put those newspaper articles or the information you get from newspaper articles under this heading. Then there is this paper, third of economics. It mainly consists of public economics, environmental economics, and industrial economics. Public economics and environmental economics are the main two portions of this paper. So for public economics, H.L. Bhatia, and mostly I have relied on IGNOU material, which is, I think, a standard material. So those topics which are not covered in the H.L. Bhatia, you can go through the IGNOU material. I have already shared with you the link. And I have also read personally, because in my master's, I read most of my topics from this Economics of Public Sector by Joseph Stiglitz. So I have read some topics for this examination from this book as well. So you can look at this book as well. But it has a mathematical approach. If you are good in mathematics, you can read this book as well. Then environmental economics. Colstad is the best book for it. And some topics from the website which I have given it. Those topics which are not covered in the Colstad book. Most importantly, most questions come from the Colstad book. Then there are other topics which are not covered in this book, and you should actually download those topics from the website which I have given to you. And another important thing is that you need to be well acquainted with the current climatic, environmental problems like climate change, global warming. So these questions they ask, what are the solutions proposed by the economists? What are the solutions like climate green bonds or climate bonds? There are various other innovative solutions which are being actually put forward by the economists to fight against climate change. You should be aware about those things as well while preparing for this paper third. And for industrial economics, R.R. Birthwall. But again, I will suggest you go through previous year question papers and locate the focus areas from this actually portion of the paper. Then comes the Indian economy paper. Indian economy, mostly around 80 to 90%, as per my own personal experience, as well as the papers from previous year question papers, 80 to 90% of the paper comes from newspapers, from Budget and Economic Survey, and from Yojana magazine. And then the rest 10 or sometimes 15% comes from the static, which is a static portion which you can cover from Uma Kapila, Indian Economy, Performance and Policies. A good book by Uma Kapila, and you can read that for the static portion. But mostly, if you want to do score good in the Indian economy paper, you have to read newspapers daily. And for Indian economy paper, you can actually opt any one paper which I have given, either Financial Express, Live Mint, or Business Standard. Go through all these papers, decide accordingly which one is the best for you, which one interests you, intrigues you the most. And Budget and Economic Survey of the current and past year, these are very important. Economic survey is very important. Most of the questions, even in your general studies and Indian economy, will be asked from economic survey. Since this is prepared by the Indian Economic Survey service officers, so they are more interested. UPSC is also more interested in the economic survey as well. So they ask many questions from economic survey. So you should be well acquainted. You should prepare economic survey and budget very well. Yojana magazine, normally it's also since it's the mouthpiece of the government, mostly those schemes which the government puts forward, the logic behind those schemes and what is the economic rationale behind those schemes, those things you will get from the Yojana magazine. So it's a monthly magazine, subscribe to it and read it carefully. And you can also prepare notes from Yojana, from the newspapers. And I will I will suggest you how to actually prepare notes that may help you in your preparation, because when the time comes for the replication of what you have read, there is not enough time for revision, because for 3 consecutive days you have to sit in the examination every day 2 papers, which becomes very hectic. Okay, now the general studies paper. Since it's more, this paper is very random. Firstly, it has a low weightage. Second, and students say, why should we put much focus on this paper? But mostly it is the data, and these 2 papers are deciding in your these are the deciding papers, and if you score good in these 2 papers, there are high chances that you will actually be in the list, because the other 4 papers, mostly the postgraduates in economics, sit in this examination and they are well aware about the economics. Everybody will be writing something about economics because they have done masters in economics. So what makes actually the impact in this examination, I think, in my personal opinion, is these 2 papers, general studies and English. If you do good in these 2 papers, there are high chances that you will actually be in the final list of the selection. For general studies, you follow daily newspapers, but not the final which I suggested for the Indian economy. For this, I followed Indian Express. You can follow Hindu or Indian Express. Both are good papers for the general studies, but I think Indian Express is better for this service. And some web portals like Drishti IAS, Chetan Verma, Vision IAS. These are some good platforms, and they provide you ready-made material which you can download, which is readily available online. You can download and you can read it. I followed the same strategy. And some NCERT books for history, especially focus should be on modern history, geography, and polity. You can go through some of the NCERTs, and also if you are internet man, then you can actually search these 3 platforms, Chetan Verma, Drishti IAS. They give the ready-made question answer type pattern for the general studies. You can go through these platforms and you can get a lot of help from this paper. Then comes the English. English paper is divided mostly in 3 components: essay, precise writing, and passage writing. For essays, my strategy was I went through some of the IAS toppers, essays of some of the IAS toppers. You can also get these are readily available online. And what you have to do while writing your essay, you have to focus on the content you put in and the structure you actually put in. For example, there is a simplified structure for your essay, like your introduction and your conclusion. They should be very good, and your conclusion should always be optimistic. And your introduction should be intriguing, so that it should be intriguing to the examiner, and he will be compelled to, or he or she will be compelled to read your entire essay. So go through some of the IAS toppers essays, and then look at what they are actually, how they are writing the essays, the content they put in, how they are using the facts and the figures in their essays. And for this, if you are reading daily newspapers, I think it will not be difficult for you to actually improve the content of your essays. Secondly, for precise and passage writing, I will suggest you go through a basic grammar book and learn the rules of precise and passage writing, and practice as many as you can. That's the best strategy to prepare these 2 papers. English paper, you have to practice, not much. It's subject to paper. If your English is good, I don't think it should create a problem for you. But still, you have to prepare for this paper, because ultimately these 2 papers remain the deciding factor in the final examination. So now there are some tips from me. You have to make notes from the newspapers, and you need to read economic survey carefully. And how do you make notes from newspapers? Suppose there was an issue when I was preparing for even the issue is still in the news. The labor laws, the new labor laws were actually uh, implemented. They were passed in the parliament, and then there was a debate in the newspapers. So what you have to do, you write somewhere in your copy, and while you are making your notes, you write this topic of labor reforms, and then there will be a discussion on this. I mean, every day there will be articles on labor reforms. Some will be criticizing it, some will be pro labor reforms, and some will be no, they will be searching for a middle ground. So you will actually get all the arguments, those who are critiquing it, those who are those who are supporting it, and those who are actually at the middle ground who suggest that some reforms are good and some are unnecessary. There are those as well. So you will get a balanced uh, uh, no material, balanced knowledge about the issue. So what do? You write labor reforms at the top of your page, and whatever is coming in the news in the days to come, you put everything under that heading. So when you actually finally prepare for this service, it will be very easy because everything, the criticism, the advantages of these laws, the pros and cons, everything will be in the same page at a particular place, and that will help you. So you have to make notes topic wise and not date wise because newspapers also come every day. So if you start making notes from newspapers date wise, that will not help you. So you prepare your notes topic wise, and that will help you while when you actually prepare or when you revise your notes while going into the examination. And also go through previous year question papers and syllabus to locate the focus areas in which UPSC is interested. Because the syllabus is very vast, the question papers will give you an idea what are the focus areas and where should I focus more. It's very important. So first thing, you download the syllabus and the previous year question papers. These are available online. So this will help you in actually preparing. Uh, this will help you in developing a mindset to actually whether you are how much the hard work is needed, how much you have to cover extra because mostly some of the things are not covered in your masters. These things you will get from the syllabus and the previous year question papers. And most importantly, your answers. You need to structure your answers very well because everybody is writing the answers. Your answers, what makes you different is how you actually put the knowledge on paper, how you put your, what you know about economics on paper. Everybody, if your answer script is not structured well, most of the time the examiners are not evaluating it. Okay, they will evaluate it, but they are not interested in actually giving you the mark. So if you want to score good, if you want to score a good rank, I would suggest to you to practice good answer writing. And how would you do that? So I would suggest you to make peer groups. You write an answer script, follow a previous year question paper, then give it to your friend. He or she will evaluate you for evaluate your answer script for you. In reciprocity, you will do the same for him or her. So by this way, you will actually develop your answer writing. Every one of you will be good in answer writing, and definitely you will do in these examinations, particularly UPSC exam, you will do good. And also, I mean, how would you structure your answers? There's a very simplified structure. I also already given you that. Okay, for every question, you need to write an introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Your introduction needs to be representative of what the question is asking. Most of the time, when we are in our masters, when any question in our semester examination comes, whatever comes to our mind, we put that into the answer script. That's not the approach, and the UPSC is not interested in that. Your answers need to be to the point, and it needs to be the representative of what the question is asking. Suppose if the question is asking you something, you have to write an introduction that is the representative of what the question is asking. And then body, you can write your body in small paragraphs or in points. That's up to you. But your conclusion also, there is a conclusion as well. And your conclusion need to be always optimistic. If they are asking you some suggestions, your suggestions should be in the body, but at the end, you should also conclude your question on an optimistic note, and you should never be critical of the government policies. That's the, basic principle of sitting in the UPSC. You should never be critical of the government policies, even though if they ask you to critically evaluate any of the government policy, your criticism should be constructive in nature and not the one which is generally directed at the government. So these things need to be considered while writing or while practicing your answers. And many students ask me what is the best best time to start preparation for this examination. Since the eligibility for this examination is masters, and I think my personal opinion is that masters is the best time to start preparation for this examination. And after masters, give this examination a full-fledged year. And after that, it's up to you. You can give a second attempt, or you can go into another field while simultaneously preparing for this service, or you can leave it altogether. It's your own choice. Okay. And then there are other possible options when you are preparing for this Indian Economic Service examination. I think there are other 3 examinations which are very lucrative, which you can prepare simultaneously with, little bit extra or less work. RBI DEPR Grade B examination, one of the lucrative jobs in India. You can prepare simultaneously while you are preparing the Indian Economic Service examination. Similarly, SEBI Grade A Assistant Manager or NABARD Grade A Assistant Manager exam, because most of the syllabus is overlapping, and you can prepare for all the 4 examinations simultaneously. So kahin na kahin pe to lag hi jayega. So with this, I will, and actually here is the notification. It was added, perhaps this is this year's notification. So those who are interested in sitting in this year's examination, they can go to the official website of UPSC and fill up the form when the link will be open. So this will be all from my side, but I would like to hear from you, because if you ask the questions that stimulate us, and since you are very fortunate to have Dr. Shamim Ara with us, so you can ask the questions. If it's based on experience, she will be the best person to answer. If it's based on what is recent in this service, I will try to give answer to those questions. So now the floor will be open for questions and queries. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So let's begin with the question answer round. And now, as we have the question, which is from Jeenat Hasmi, she's asking the question, and I think ma'am is the best person who can answer this question. Ma'am? So the question is, yes ma'am. So the question is, she is asking, if an economic advisor is posted at 3 different levels, for example, at the national, state, and the district level, what advice will he give in the 3 different posts? Okay, if he wants to suggest, so what are the different natures of the advisors if you are working in the 3 different levels at the central, state, and the local, and the district? Nature of the advisors. For example, she has also given example. Example is, if that economic advisor wants to advise that the goal is to increase the GDP or the DDP by 3% or the 5%. So what will be the difference in the nature of the advice in the 3 different levels, the center, the state, and the district?
Very good question. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah, very nice question. So first of all, I would like to mention that economic advisors are not posted at district level. So at max, they are posted at state level, and many of the time, most of them are posted at central level only. So, but she has also given a hypothetical situation that what will be differences in approach. Since we are expert in economics, we know how to evaluate cost and benefit. We know how to evaluate what are. So our first approach will be, if suppose we want to increase GDP or this DDP of a particular district. So first of all, district advisor will try to analyze what are the comparative advantage of that particular region. Suppose is very famous, and but we don't have very good in terms of social infrastructure and physical infrastructure. So, being an economic advisor, so my first thing will be I will try to analyze in which sector our region can excel. So then accordingly I'll plan. So this so suppose in my if district collector or the state head that try to analyze try to bring that kind of manufacturing activities which have forward as well as the backward linkages, and which can provide opportunity, job market opportunity to people. And we will also and since we are experts in the economic activities, we can evaluate in terms of what will be the cost of setting up a manufacturing in that particular region, and what will be the benefit out of it. And accordingly, we will and we can set a target, and we can provide incentive, like if that particular region is weaker in terms of education. Firstly on those indicators, we will also set up physical infrastructure, road network, railways or other kind of things. And besides this, if we set a particular kind of factory or any kind of tourism activity or which have backward and forward linkages, and and we will also try to analyze what are the actual what are the challenges which keeping them laggard. So we will analyze them, and we will accordingly provide suggestion like yeah, we should provide tax incentives, or we should provide this kind of credit facilities at cheaper rate. And accordingly we will prepare a report, and we will advise the district collector or state government or at central level. And we will have that a full discussion on those. And after the approval of the secretary or at higher level, and we will try to implement those kind of policy. And we will also let down some targets so that we can achieve particular targets, suppose 3% to 5% of district domestic product. But we will lay down so some timelines how to achieve those targets within the stipulated time. I hope I have answered clearly.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you have asked. And I have a joint question with this. Ma'am, what will be the nature of policies if we are giving advices at the macroeconomic level? What are the different parameters that we have to take consideration when we are giving decision at the central level or at the macroeconomic level? You know, what are the different parameters that you look up to? Like
Macro indicator on what segment you want to
like on policies, if you want to make policies like at the central level, then what are the indicators and the parameters that we look up to?
It actually depends on what exactly you want to achieve, what's your target is. So suppose you are focusing on Indra Awas. So and in that scenario, you will pick up that there is some census conducted by most. So you will choose that census, and you will from that you will shortlist there. Then you will load down some particular criteria to identify the beneficiary. Suppose if there may be loopholes, people may not report that. People may say that they don't have house. They may give you false information. So you will be in that scenario. You will be making certain parameters, like a certain house, whether that house has kacha or pakka, whether that house has electricity, television, or other kind of amenity, other kind of things are also there or not. So on these parameters, you will include and exclude. So these are the parameters. There are many, there are so many
yes,
these things, processes.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, the
Hello?
second question
Hello?
is what is the difference in your experience while working in the finance and now working in the external affairs? Because while seeing the finance, we try to connect that yes, it is related with economics, but how come like external affairs, like what is the difference in the experience of yours in the two different ministries?
So, in Ministry of Finance, as I have already told you, I was dealing with multilateral development banks like World Bank, New Development Bank, International Finance Corporation. So, I was there. I was evaluating policy matters as well as project matters. So, project matters of the World Bank, we used to evaluate cost and benefit analysis of these projects, and we used to evaluate what will be since the government of India were the guarantor of those projects. So we used to evaluate very judiciously what benefit our people will get out of this project. So this kind of thing. Similarly, I had also worked on economic survey. We used to prepare chapter. We used to analyze economic aspects of this. I was also dealing with the social sector. I was analyzing the draft cabinet notes pertaining to like labor laws and these educations as well as the health, these kind of aspects I was dealing. And I was offering policy suggestions majorly in terms of, I used to evaluate in terms of economic analysis. But in Ministry of External Affairs, so I am not only dealing with the economic aspects, I'm also dealing with the political aspects. I'm also thinking in terms of the security aspects. Like in Ministry of External Affairs, you don't have to think in terms of economy that what will be the impact of this thing on your economy only, but you will also think how it will impact on your international, your country's relation with the other multilateral fora or other countries. So this is the political aspect. Similarly, you have to also think whether this particular company is setting up in this sensitive area or some this border region, what will be the security aspect? So you have to think in terms of those things. And besides this, since I was dealing with G20, BRICS, our power were determined in terms of how many defense power you have. But nowadays, it is determined what's your GDP and what's your rank in the world GDP. So, so economics, the fiscal matters and trade matters, these are being discussed in whether it is G20 or matters. These are being discussed in whether it is G20. You must be aware of G20, right? Similarly, it is the BRICS. BRICS is this is a union of this five association of five countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which together accounts 40%, around 40% of the world population, and around 33% of the world GDP. Similarly, G20, as I have mentioned, that it's a grouping of 19 countries and European Union. So the global financial crisis in 2008, so they are basically discussing the emerging issues across the world. So whether it is the tax matters, whether it is the financial aspects and how to cross-border movement issue or other kind of issues, these kind of issues are basically dealt in the multilateral fora, and they are basically dealt in the Ministry of External Affairs.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So next question we have with us is addressed to sir. Sir, the question to you is, how have you started from the scratch? And if a person wants to start from the beginning, what will be the procedure if somebody wants to start from very beginning for this exam?
Okay. So actually, in 2019, I had no intention of sitting in this examination. it was only because of COVID that COVID gave me an opportunity to sit inside the house, inside my room, and prepare for this examination. If you remember, there was a notification in 2020, that first notification that there will be no vacancy for this examination this year. So even at that time, I was not ready to sit in this examination. So after that, in May around, another notification came, but the country was under lockdown at that point of time, that now there will be an examination. There are only 15 vacancies, but the examination will be in October. So it was only after the second notification that I decided that I have finished my MPhil thesis. Why not to actually divert my time for preparing this examination? Let's give it a try. So when I decided to sit in this examination, the first thing I actually did, I joined a WhatsApp group which was operating from Kerala, and that really helped me, because that provided a sort of guidance to me how to prepare for this service. And what we actually used to do, I firstly went through the previous year question papers and also through the syllabus. And since I was actually still in the academics, I was doing my MPhil, and I had the material of my master's with me. So I decided to actually, when I decided to appear in this examination, I put my 100%, and that was it. So you can, if you are willing to appear in this examination, I think 1 year, you should at least give a full-fledged year to this examination. Otherwise, it's very difficult because the vacancies are very low. So if you are willing to sit in this examination, the first thing you should do, you download the previous 5-year question papers, go through them carefully, read the syllabus, and decide what are the areas I have covered in my master's and what are the areas I have to cover. And also, you have to decide the newspaper which you are going to read throughout your preparation, because most of it comes from the newspapers. And even in your paper, economics paper second and paper third, you can actually make your answer strong, but by actually connecting the theory with what's happening in the economy with practice. Okay, so that I did. Suppose I used some facts, some figures in my answers to supplement my point, to actually support my argument. You can also do that. But I think if you want to prepare for this service, the best time is the last semester of your master's. If you are in your master's, if you have completed your master's, then definitely you decide to sit in this examination and give a full-fledged year to it, because it demands a lot of hard work.
So, sir, the next question is regarding the interview. Did you give some like mock interviews type of things? And one of the student has asked, why is there no mock interviews available for the Indian Economic Service mock interviews for those area? Also, did you give, and like, where can we look up for this?
Yeah, I gave around 2 mock interviews with appellate form, Ecoholics. I only joined the appellate form after actually qualifying the mains examination. Then they had advertised that we are organizing a free mock interview, and they have organized 2 mock interviews from me. Yes, I did that. Regarding the second part, that why are there no mock interviews for the Indian Economic Service examination? Since the number of vacancies is very low and the number of candidates is not that much compared to the civil services. So those who are organizing the mock interviews, they do it for a purpose, for profit particularly. The coaching centers do it, and they earn profit on YouTube, through YouTube, and also they charge from the candidates as well. So if the number of candidates is not, it's simple economics. If the demand is not that much, so you will not supply it. So simple economics, they are not supplying it. They are not providing the mock interviews guidance for the Indian Economic Service, because the number of candidates who are opting for it, because it's a specialized service, and most of the students do not need it. And even those who are qualifying it, most of the candidates do not need the mock interviews. That's why when you don't demand the mock interviews and you do not pay them, they will not supply it. This is the simple reason why there are no mock interviews for this service.
Okay, sir. So, sir, next question is like you talked about being humble. At the same time, you talk about being confident while you're addressing the interview panel. So, my question is, how can we balance the confidence and balance the humility inside you? How can we balance both the things together?
Uh, so again, it's very tricky. I mean, when you are in the interview stage, first thing is that, I mean, there is always a nervousness in you, but mostly the atmosphere inside the room is very no cardiac. So you will love to sit there for more time when you sit in this interview process. They try to make you comfortable, but there will be one person who is there to grill you. And in that, on that point, when they start to grill you, you have to be very confident. Suppose I was asked some question on monetary policy, so I gave an answer. So, but then they countered me. But I was confident that the answer which I have given was right as per my own knowledge. So I told them very humbly. So as far as I know, and as far as I have read in the book, I have given the name of the book as well. So this is the situation. This is a possible scenario that can happen. But still, I will go through again through the literature. I will read about it. So you are confident. At the same time, you showed humility that you can still learn about things. Similarly, and there were, suppose I had done my MPhil. They asked me some questions from my MPhil. So I should be in a position to actually answer that those questions which come from a field on which I am going to be a on which I have specialty because I was doing a research in a particular field. They asked me some questions from it, and I was not able to answer them. And I said them, sir, I don't know it, but I will definitely go through it. So, and they said, okay, it's okay. So you have to be very, at the same time, your answer should be, firstly, if they counter you, if you have said something, and then you have to defend it. It's very important. If you have said something, you have to defend it. But at the same time, you can show them the interest that you are, again, willing to learn more. And if you don't know anything, tell them straight away, I don't know it. But if you say, I don't know it, sir, then it's not a right approach. You said, say them, sir, I don't know it right now, but I will go back to my books. I will read about it, and I will form a balanced opinion or a balanced view about it. So you tell them like this. I mean, be humble in your answers, but at the same time, you should be confident. I mean, the nervousness should not be there.
Okay, sir.
Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, yes, sir, definitely, sir. So the next question is, can you please throw some light on the types of the questions that were asked to you in the interview? Like there some sort of questions you can throw some light on. What were the questions that were asked?
Yes, as far as I remember, the first question they asked me, the chairman of the board asked me, Tanveer, the economists are saying something like growth and development. Can you tell me the difference between what is growth and development? This was a simple question. I answered it. Then he asked me about the deficits, basic economics questions, which a layman should actually know, like what are twin deficits, what is fiscal deficit. So these questions were asked by him. Then there was a question on my hobby as well. Suppose, what is the difference between article writing and a letter writing? So there will be questions on your hobby because you are filling a DAF. So most of the questions will be from your DAF because they don't know you, but they have read your DAF and they will ask the questions from that. And then there were questions from my own home state, like suppose, Tanveer, if you are made an economic advisor to the government of Jammu and Kashmir, what are the 5 specific things you would like to do? So either UPSC will ask you, tell us about the 3 specific things you want to do in a particular field, or 5. These are the 2 holy words for them, holy figures for them. So mostly I was asked, tell us about the 5 things you want to do in Kashmir. So I told them, they told me, be specific. I mean, what are the specific areas you want to actually advise the government of Jammu and Kashmir? So there will be questions from your own home state. There will be questions from the budget as well. There will be questions from the economics. Suppose I was asked about the negative interest rate. What is the impact of monetary policy when the interest rate is negative? Can you tell us about, suppose, let me tell you another question which they asked me and I was not sure, and how you can be confident at the same time you can be humble. So they asked me, can you tell us the name of a country which was running the negative interest rate, which was in the liquidity trap recently. So I had in my mind that it is Japan, but I was not sure. So I told them, sir, I don't know it, but I can guess if you allow me. And they told me, yes, you can guess. I told them Japan. They told me, yes. They told me, yes, Japan was the country which was in the liquidity trap. And then they asked me questions on that. So there were many other questions. Suppose there were questions from my MPhil thesis, and there was a question on general economic terms. There were questions on my hobby, and one of the difficult questions which I faced in my interview was that there was a ma'am, one of the panel members. She told me, Tanveer, you are sent to the World Economic Forum, and you have to represent India at that stage. Take 15 seconds and start your speech for 2 minutes. It was very difficult for me to give a speech. So I told them, it's a bit difficult. They told me, yes, it's a bit difficult, but still, you try. We know it's a bit difficult. I tried, and I did well because my marks in the exam in this interview stage were good. So when I came out of the interview room, so I was confident that I did well. I answered questions with confidence, and that's all you have to do. So you answer your questions well. Some of the questions you don't know because they also know that student will not know everything. So these are the things, these are the questions that were asked to me in my interview. These are some of the questions.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, how can we is it feasible to prepare both the civil service examination along with this economics examination together?
Yes, I think yes. We have another member, Dr. Shamim Ara. She will be the best person to answer it because she was preparing for the civil services.
Yes, ma'am, can you address? Yes.
She did it.
Yes, in fact, it's ideal thing that if you prepare for civil services as well as Indian economic service, that will be, in fact, the syllabus is almost similar. So I would suggest one to prepare for both the exams.
Okay, ma'am. Also, how can we there is also option for the optional of economics? How can we manage?
Yeah.
The question was, how can we manage it? Both.
So the thing is, the syllabus for Indian economic service and this, if you appear for the civil services, so if you are choosing this economics as a main paper, so the syllabus is almost same. While you prepare for the civil services, and it will be helpful to you in the Indian economic service preparation as well. For example, I was preparing for civil services only. Tried for civil services, but I couldn't get through a prelims. But despite the fact that I didn't study hard for this Indian economic service, I got only just 10 days because I was doing my MPhil. So and appeared in this exam, and I got through the exam, this Indian economic service in the very same year. Hello.
Ma'am, so the next question is, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, the next question is, how is the training for this economic service OTs? How is the training, ma'am?
The training start with this foundation course, and it's mandatory, and it's for 3 months. So you will be sent to Labasna, where other service officers are being sent, like IS officer, IPS officer, or you may be sent to another place that is called Marichanna Reddy Institute, Hyderabad. So any of the two places you will be sent, and there will be 100 days training. So you will be getting training along with the other service people as well, like IS, IPS, IRS, and there will be training on general kind of things. So you will be taught polity, economics, financial things, and many other kind of activities. And you will be participating in the games, sports, and these, and you will be encouraged to pursue some kind of hobby. And your training will start from since 5 in the morning, and it will how would you sit in the office. There will be personality development kind of thing. So after this initial induction training, a specialized kind of training starts, and the Indian Economic Service people are being sent to Institute of Economic Growth, and there they are basically they will teach you about the economic aspects and other things, how to make policy, how to evaluate the particular policy, and they will teach you econometrics, and other kind of thing. After that, you will be sent to almost, there will be National Law School, University, that is at Bangalore. You will be also sent to Civil Service College, Singapore, and various other places like NABARD and RBI, SEBI, and you will learn how these institutions are actually working. Besides this, you will be sent to a particular district as well for 2 months, and there you will be asked to evaluate the working of the particular policy, like Manrega or poverty alleviation schemes or various other rural development schemes. So you will be asked to visit that particular district. You will be assigned some particular village or some kind of thing, and there you will go. You will visit that place, and you will analyze how these Manrega is working, how the other development schemes are working. So that kind of training we have. After so this training will go up. This entire training will go up to 16 months. So after that, you will be posted at different ministries or departments of the central government of India, and you will be on probation for 2 months. So after that probation training, that these on work training, you will get confirmation into the service.
Okay, ma'am. So my next question is to sir. Sir, the question is.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the question is one of the students has asked, what is the depth of the preparation of the topic? Because almost every topic is so universal in nature. So he's asking, how much emphasis should we give to each and every corner of that topic if we are preparing a single topic?
I mean, look, the examination is a specialized type of an examination, and it's one of the most coveted jobs in the country. So they're expecting something good from you. So for every topic, you need to do a thorough reading. Otherwise, if you don't do a thorough reading, you will somehow stumble in the examination. And when you read more about a particular topic, and let me give you a strategy that really helped me in my examination. When I was doing my master's, I used to read every topic from around 5 to 6 books. But in my master's, I had no intention at that point of time of staying in this examination. And by doing that, by reading a particular topic from different authors, what you get different perspectives. And when you get different perspectives, you can actually write a balanced answer when you are actually staying in this examination. That really helped me when I was actually writing this paper, because you have to replicate a lot of information in the examination within limited time and within a limited space. So in that limited space, you have to put your as much as possible, but the content you put in determines whether you actually qualify this service or not. And how you make your content good is that you do a thorough reading of every topic. And that I will suggest to you. Because if you are reading any topic, read it thoroughly, read it from different books. If you are in your master's, if you are preparing for the service and the time is very limited, then focus on a particular book, and you need not to read the entire book. Suppose on microeconomics, you locate the focus areas, go through the syllabus, and read only those portions. That will really help you.
Okay, sir. So, sir, next question is, out of all these papers, which paper is comparatively easy so that we can focus more on it and score high? Which paper is comparatively easier?
Suppose if you are good at mathematics, then most of the students from DU or JNU, because mostly the JNU and the DU, they have a monopoly on this service, they qualify it. And they say that you score good in the first paper. I had mathematics up to my +2, so I was also confident that I will score good in my paper A, which is based on microeconomics and econometrics. But something happened since it was my first attempt. Some mistakes happened from me in the first paper, which I rectified in the second and third paper, as well as in the fourth paper. So I scored more marks in paper third, which is mostly theoretical. So it depends upon you. Suppose if you have read the newspapers, if you have followed the newspapers and you have practiced the answer writing, then definitely if you can score in any paper. Every paper, as per my own opinion and assessment, is that every paper is equally difficult. Most of the time, what they do, they will give one paper. One paper, the difficulty level will be a bit higher, but the rest of the papers will be a bit easy. And suppose in our case, the first paper was a bit difficult. The rest of the papers, as per my own assessment, were easy, and I scored good marks in all the next three papers, in paper second, paper third, and paper fourth. So if you are good, most of the time the students, especially from JNU or DU, they say that they are not able to score much in Indian economy or paper 3 and paper 2, but they score good marks in paper 1. So it is, I think its answer is subjective. It depends. If you are good in mathematics, I think you should score well in paper first, but if you are good in theory, you should score good in the other three papers. The difficulty level is also subjective. Suppose if you are not good in mathematics, then you may feel the paper first is a bit difficult, and the rest of the papers are easy. But if you are good in mathematics, you will feel the rest of the papers are difficult and the first is easy. It's subjective and it depends from person to person.
Okay, sir. So, how many possible attempts is it possible?
I actually don't know, but if you are a general category student, then after the age of 30, you cannot appear in this examination. You have to actually appear before attaining the age of 30. But if you are from any special category like SC or 6, like SC or ST or OBC, then there are some age relaxations. And probably there are around 5 to 6 attempts you can actually give for this examination, but not above the age of 30 if you are a general category student.
Okay, sir. So my next question is to ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, what are the different internship opportunities if somebody wants to work in the Ministry of in the External Affairs?
Not only in Ministry of External Affairs, in almost all the ministries, there are internship opportunities, and I think they conduct this internship program twice in a year. So you need to keep checking, and you will be deployed in different divisions. And so minimum eligibility for this internship opportunity is just graduation. So many persons from Delhi University, JNU, and this kind of students have pursued this kind of internship under me. So if you are interested, you need to keep checking the website of the ministry, and so they are conducting this internship in whether it is Ministry of Finance or Niti Aayog or Ministry of External Affairs. They are conducting it regularly, and that too twice in a year, summer and winter.
Okay, ma'am. So if you can throw light on this question.
Yes, go ahead. In this
Yeah.
question, internship question,
Yes.
there are some questions. Yes, there are some opportunities from the NITI Aayog. Ma'am has already said it, but there are some other no internship opportunities with RBI. So you can check that with SEBI. So various other, this organization, they have these internship kind of opportunities for the students. But I think like Ministry of Finance has its own special kind of thing on this internship is for the economic students, especially the economics, this department which is controlling the career of Indian Economic Service officers. And NITI Aayog, especially because most of the students from JNU and DU, they are actually they have this kind of monopoly for this internships with the NITI Aayog and RBI. The rest of the periphery institutions, the students are not aware, and sometimes they don't get the necessary help, even from the faculty members, to actually appear in these, to actually opt for these internships.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, and anyone of you can answer it. The next question is, what should be the mindset of the student who wish to join this service? Apart from this bookish knowledge and all, what should be the mindset of a student?
Hello? Can I
Yeah.
answer it first,
Yeah,
or ma'am? I think, if you are passionate about economics, and from my own personal experience, if you are not reading newspapers, if you are not up to date about what's happening in Indian economy right now, about what is happening in the world economy right now, and what's going to happen in the post-pandemic world, what role we can play, suppose if you are in India, what role India can play in the post-pandemic world. So these things are, if these questions are not intriguing you enough, because most of these questions you will not get answers from the books, from macroeconomics or microeconomics. They can help you to pass the examination. And that's the static portion. And if you want to apply those ideas, then definitely nobody will come and say you apply this idea here. So if you read newspapers daily, constantly, then that will definitely help you in becoming a mature economist. Although you will be still learning, and the learning process should go on in everyone's life. But definitely, I think reading these newspapers helps you to be a good economist and to be a well-informed mind. And that makes a difference. Suppose those who are solely focused on books and those who read books as well as they are well aware about what's happening right now in the rest of the world, in India, what suppose climate change will do to the world, what it can do to the world economy. Suppose India is right now facing the coal crisis, energy crisis. So these questions we should always, these questions as an economic student should intrigue us, and they should stimulate our thinking, and definitely we should come with some innovative answers to these questions. So if you are not reading what's happening right now, then definitely that's not going to help you to qualify this service. Books, there are papers which are testing your bookish knowledge, especially, for example, paper first and second, but there are papers from this UPSC which will test your knowledge as whether you are connected with the rest of the world, what's happening right now, what's happening in the Indian economy, which normally those who prepare for this service or those who qualify categorize the dynamic portion of this examination. So you need to be well aware about these facts. Rest, ma'am, is the better person to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Tanveer has already said that those who are passionate about this economics and those who want to contribute in nation building process through their domain knowledge, so I'll think they should prepare for this exam.
Also, ma'am, there is a question to you. Maybe this is the last question to you. The question is, what was your experience at AMU? Like how you managed it? Can you share a little bit of it?
I had wonderful memory at AMU. So I didn't do only this graduation to masters, but I joined at very early stage. I did my 11th to masters from Aligarh Muslim University. So I had so Aligarh is like second home to me. So I had wonderful memories. So uh, I can say that whatever I have achieved in my life. So basic foundation stone laid down by AMU only. So, but I had certain kind of these things like when I was in graduation, I opted economics, mathematics, and statistics since beginning. So I was doing mathematics and statistics classes to BSc students from the BSc in mathematics or BSc in statistics. But the thing is, when I was in this graduation final year and I wanted to opt this econometric option, but at that time, my this professors at Women's College as well as this principal at Women's College, they said that you can't opt this option because we don't have teacher for this at this particular subject in Women's College, and we can't allow you to join it at to attend these classes along with the boys at Department of Economics. So we tried really hard, and in many of cases, what I have realized that our these senior professors or head of the departments or the vice chancellor, they are not aware of our actual problem, what the girl student of women's college or Abdullah halls are facing. So what I did, so I just wrote everybody told me that you can't opt this econometrics option, and then I was very disappointed because I opted this. I studied this statistics and mathematics only for this purpose, so that I can choose econometrics as an option. And I was good at mathematics. So what I did, I wrote a letter to Vice Chancellor sir. So Vice Chancellor sir said that if she wants to attend econometrics, she can join the classes at the Department of Economic Affairs. So we allowed, and we opted, and we specialized this econometrics paper in masters as well. So this paper was quite very helpful for me in whether it is MPhil or whether it is PhD. So due to this econometrics option, and I also this paper was quite helpful in this IES preparation as well. So the so I had a very good experience at AMU.
Also, ma'am, if you can also throw light on your experience at JNU.
JNU, yeah. So as I have already mentioned you, AMU and JNU, yeah, both these universities are premier institute, and so we learned most of these research-oriented kind of things, or this kind of competitive environment, competitive in terms of this for preparation of different kinds of examination. We learned this kind of, we got this kind of environment in JNU because we had that kind of facilities. Our professor used to encourage us to debate on certain aspects and debate. We were encouraged to present whatever. So we had that kind of this thing. Their professors used to encourage us to write this kind of research papers and all. So for we had examination for just 30 final examination during MPhil that consists of just 20 to 30 marks. Rest we used to write papers on the different aspects, and we were encouraged to present those papers. So the assessment were done on this practical kind of knowledge. So this kind of environment I got. Besides this, the most important thing what I got, this kind of competitive environment. Means at JNU, what I found that all students were preparing along with, they used to do their research work as well, like MPhil and PhD. Apart from these research work, they were also working really hard for this UPSC examination, RBI examination, or IES examination. So I got that kind of environment, and I got accustomed of that environment, and I also prepared for certain examination, and I appeared, and finally I have reached to this. I got through this Indian Economic Service exam. So I had wonderful experience at both places, whether it is AMU or JNU.
Yes, ma'am, definitely it was an enriching experience. Now I would like to call Adif Anwar for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shofra, for having me. Honorable Dr. Shamim Ara, ma'am, Deputy Director, Ministry of External Affairs, distinguished Tanveer Ahmad Khan, sir, IES, Organized Second 2020, core members of AMU ECONOMICS Students Club, fellow colleagues, and students of other universities. Assalamu alaikum. It's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of AMU ECONOMICS Students Club and students of our Department of Economics, Aligarh University, Aligarh. I extend my heartfelt thanks to one and all present here, and also those who are watching it on YouTube, as this session is live streaming on YouTube. First and foremost, I express my sincerest gratitude to the guest speakers for gracing this webinar on the topic Decoding Indian Economic Service. We thank you for accepting our invitation despite your busy schedule. We are grateful to you for your insights into the syllabus of this examination and the roles and responsibilities of an IAS officer. Your valuable tips and strategies, and also your book list. With a heavy heart, even I don't want to highlight this, but the fact is that from the last 7 years, no one from AMU has qualified for this prestigious examination. This webinar has been an attempt from our club to change this. Your inspirational stories is a great source of motivation for all the participants who are listening to this, and I'm hopeful that they will strive to change this, and we will soon hear some topper coming from our university. Our special thanks to all the participants who spare their valuable time to be present here and ask super fantastic question while also sticking to the rules of our webinar. Finally, a special mention to the core members of our club for putting together this whole wonderful webinar. And to all those who wants to be a part of this brilliant team, AESC, we will be soon recruiting our new members. Do join us and get a chance to learn. Follow our social media handles for more updates. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again.
So now we are at the end of the session. At the end, I will ask both of the speakers if they want to say something, a type of a concluding remark or anything that we missed and they want to share, they can share. Starting from ma'am.
I would like to thank the members of Economic Students Club for having us and organizing this program. And I'm feeling really privileged to be part of this program. And I would like to thank you for this thing, organizing this program. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much,
for
ma'am.
hearing us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We cannot express the happiness and the gratitude that we are in right now, because listening from that, we are going to hear from you, and like ending this session was definitely an enriching experience for all of us who have joined today's session. So now I'd like to ask Tanveer Ahmad Khan sir to give his concluding remark. Also, if we have missed anything, you can include that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for actually inviting me and giving me the opportunity to interact with the students. Since I come from a place, from especially Kashmir, I'm the first Kashmiri to qualify this service, since many Kashmiri students are in the AMU, and I have also one of my favorite teachers, Mariam Elizabeth. She was also from AMU, and she had a lot of love for AMU. So I also have a special, in my heart, there's a special place for AMU, because many of my other teachers are from the AMU. and since many of my colleagues are also doing their research in AMU, so I wish best of luck to all the students of AMU, especially the economics students. And I will also encourage you to actually sit in these examinations, never fear. Since the number of vacancies in this examination are very low, on an average 15, and that in itself somehow discourages these economics students or the aspirants, especially from the universities like AMU, Kashmir University, or other periphery institutions, to sit in this examination because they get demotivated. You need not to fear this examination, but you have to work. You have to put extra bit of work, and you have to actually study. Consistency, the hard work is the key for this examination. And your masters, you actually enjoy your life in your undergraduation, but you have to be very careful when you are in your masters, because that's the stage of your career. That's the place, that's the time when you can actually do something good and you can make an impact in your life. So I wish you all best of luck in your future. And if any time at any place you need me, you can actually contact me. I will be always available to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And just to remind you that our club in itself, we have got so many friends from Kashmir, from boys and girls in our core member team, and they have been working as well. Also, let me I forget to, but also let me congratulate you, sir, for such a great achievement. And at the end, I would like to thank both of our speakers for giving their special time to us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
I would like to say something before we end this.
Yeah.
Ma'am and sir, we hope to see you soon once this pandemic is over for a webinar at our university. We invite you to our university.
Sure, we would love to join you in this physical mode.
Yes, yes.
Yes. I would also love to be in person here. So.
And also for those who will be appearing in this year or even the next year, you can. Ma'am and sir has generously offered his and her mentorship for you guys. So if any one of you wants to contact ma'am and sir for any kind of question or for mentorship, you can contact ma'am and sir personally on LinkedIn, and ma'am and sir's email ID will be shared at the club page, and you can also contact the club. The club will make contact.
Hello. Yeah,
yes,
another important announcement. We have opened a WhatsApp group. I mean, I have got my help and the guidance for this examination from a WhatsApp group. So we have also opened the WhatsApp group. If you are interested and if you are appearing in the next year's Indian Economic Service examination, you can contact me. I will add you in that WhatsApp group, and that will help you. Okay, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay.